A while ago when I hit 50,000 subs, I did this massive 2.5 hour long video that covered 50 movies. It was like 20 plus franchises. And yeah, it's a lot to go through. So through the month of December, I figured I would periodically drop some of those timelines individually so you don't have to filter through all of that if you just want to watch one of them. So enjoy this special presentation of an individual timeline.
Last horror franchise here, and it's one that could probably be its own episode, but it's one that I figure is way too obscure to feature. But you know, it turns out it does have a timeline, and it's the Fear Footage trilogy. And we're in the home stretch here, getting close to the end, so let's just jump right in. We're kicking off in 2018 with the Fear Footage, and we're told that the footage is from a recovered police officer body cam, and it's from April of 2016. And we're told that a house that was destroyed a year ago has magically reappeared, that went to investigate was never seen again. We're then shown the footage as the officer enters the house and finds a number of video cassettes, and hey, what movie is this? Is this a VHS sequel that I'm unaware of? Well, on the tape is something called Birthday Party, and it's this kid's birthday tomorrow, but oh no, creepy clowns are around. And what do you know, there's one right outside. The kid tries telling his mom, but she won't believe him, and hey kid, you have it on video, just show her. The mom disappears, and oh hey, red balloons and clowns, never seen that before. Turns out his mom is dead, and then he's just like led away, like the end, sure. We're then back in the house, and I love that the cop was just like, checking out this house, might as well watch this whole video. He then finds a diary with an entry from 2015, and it talks about an evil tape, and the little girl talks about killing her parents, and it's from 1 year ago, when the house supposedly burnt down. And oh, another video, might as well watch. This one's called Storm Stalkers, and these two guys are chasing a superstorm and hit a guy, but then a cult shows up, and they get chased into a maze where a really silly monster attacks them, and the cult has a ceremony. The end. And the cop, again, watched that whole thing. And then, no shock, another tape. This one called Speak No Evil, and this guy hears strange sounds in the woods at night, and there's a story of a crazy pastor that killed a bunch of kids a while back, and then vanished, and after hearing some spooky sounds out back, he goes outside, and the pastor's church has appeared, and dude is revealed to be his son, I guess, and boo! Meanwhile, cop guy realizes he's trapped in the house and spooky stuff starts happening, including a pretty cool monster and some nice visuals. Like the last 10 minutes of this movie are better than every other thing in this film combined. But then it just ends. They get the cop. Didn't see that coming. That was followed up 2 years later with the Fear Footage 2 Curse of the Tape. We're told that the footage this time is from 2019, and this guy is back, but he says that the guy in the first movie isn't him. He says that he doesn't know how he's on that footage from the first film and seeks out other people that were on the tape and meets up with the Storm Stalker guys, and he recaps the story of the house and the girl, Megan. They get irate for a reason and storm off like they just saw a videotape with the two of them on it, and their reaction is to just get mad. But then James has a change of heart, and they want to go to try to find the tape that the Megan girl said she watched in her diary. And it's an old cabin that they rent, and they ask around to find out the story of what happened and meet up with the cop from the first movie's wife. That night, there's something in the woods that attacks James, and he ends up Blair Witching. And as the nights go on, they hear things and make a map of all the murders in the area that make the design from the cult in the Storm Chaser short, and the center leads to a cemetery, so they go there. There's a house there, and there's missing posters with that 2019 date on it, and after they argue a whole lot, they decide to stay one more night. That night, the cop from the first movie appears as a demon thing, and at 3 a.m. the house from the first movie appears, so of course he goes in, and of course becomes trapped, but jumps out a window. He's then just attacked and, I guess, killed. The end. We then move on to 2021's The Fear Footage 3 AM, which begins with telling us that we're back in Maryland and another guy has gone missing named Dennis in 2020. We established that, like the last one, the Fear Footage movies were actual releases, so he goes to try to find out if they're real. He visits Dark Bluff, finding old houses, and they're all abandoned, and while exploring, he gets lost on a road, and his truck disappears. There's dead birds everywhere, and eventually, after wandering around for a while, he finds a house that he goes into for the night. There's tapes here from 1990, and he hears spooky sounds and is chased by some sort of creature, and the next day finds a tent with information about the cult's ceremonies. He runs into the other storm chaser guy, who then promptly kills himself, and Dennis sees a note saying that once you're on the tape, you can't escape. And after much just sort of walking around, a door shows up. He goes through that door and yep, in the house. It lets him out, but then David is here, still alive I guess, and he says that there's a way out, and it's across a bridge. And there's missing posters for all the characters we've seen so far, but now there's one for Dennis. And he goes back to the house and finds the original tape, and a bunch of things chase him around, with him ending up in the basement and finds that original tape. But the cult appears and chases him, and he's hit by a car, and it's revealed that he's the guy that was hit way back in the first movie in the Storm Stalker sequence that got those guys stuck there in the first place. That's it for the horror franchises, and that's 3 movies that are surprisingly well linked. The storylines all intermix, and you know what? I admire the effort to kind of weave a story here. Like, the first one seemed like it was gonna do the whole VHS thing, but then they found a way to tie that into their greater storyline, so that's well done. But I'll also say that the execution is not great. They get a bit monotonous and dull, so even though they were a touch better than I was expecting, I still don't think they were all that great.